Welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law, Windshield Time. Now, it's been a while since I've actually explained what windshield time is, so I'm going to go ahead and do that again. Windshield time is not a scripted, planned presentation. I'm not reading from a script. I'm driving between courts. Right now, I'm driving from a rural county about an hour away from my office, where I had to go to set a trial. So I have 2 hours on the road for a 5-minute appearance, and I'm headed back to Kirksville in my office to have a real estate closing. We are closing on our new office building today. I purchased a building that has whatchamacallit, 3 different offices in it. My firm will be leasing the top floor, which is nice. It's more space than we have. It's better laid out. I like the appearance of the office. Aesthetically, it's a little dated, and we'll update that, but it's not something that has to happen right now. It's functional, and we should be able to step in and get to work. So the case I have that we were just set for trial is a DWI that's enhanced as a prior and persistent felony offender to a felony time. The client is facing 10 to 30 or life in prison. Realistically, I would be surprised if he got more than 10 years, even on a finding of guilt. I mean, a DWI is a DWI. It's not like, anyway. So there are issues with cases, and I'm not going to get into details of that case. Obviously, it's ongoing. But it takes a long time for cases to go to trial. This case, we're at September 5th. This case is set for trial in April. The courts get busy, man. You've got your judge, you've got your courtrooms, things get tied up. So that's going to be a long time before trial. And other cases are just as bad. I mean, they're pretty hard. So, justice delayed, it doesn't work that way when you're on the defense. The delay is in your favor. People forget things and make mistakes, and then they testify incorrectly and they make mistakes in their testimony, and you can start are you telling the truth today, or were you telling the truth and you said the other thing? Which one of your 2 statements is a lie? That's always good fun. I don't use that approach. It's not my style, but the essence of that is the same. I mean, that's really what you're getting at. You want the jury to know that the person who's supposed to be the complaining witness can't remember shit, and they tell a different story every time they tell it. If they tell a different story every time they tell it, you look at the jury and you can't have proof beyond a reasonable doubt because you don't know what happened. So, and sometimes it works, and sometimes you piss the jury off and they go against your client because they don't like you. Doesn't happen very often, but it happens. And you never know. That's one of the hardest things about being a trial attorney. You never know why the jury ruled the way it did. Even when you go back and you ask, every member shades it and tells their own story about what happened in the jury room. Some jurors won't talk to you. I had a trial. It was the first trial that I lost, the only trial I've lost. And when we were talking to the jurors after the trial, we found out that there were 9 jurors that believed guilty, 3 jurors believed not guilty, and then over the course of the hours that the jury was out, those 3 jurors got basically beaten down, and they changed their position from not guilty to guilty, and they got out of that room. If you've never seen 12 Angry Men, go see the play, go watch the movie. because I gotta say, I envision it happening something like that. You know, there was another trial we had. I was brought in and I assisted with the final parts of the jury selection and the trial. I didn't have the case all the way through. That was a rape case, and the jury was out for a long time. They were out several hours, and they even at one point sent a message in and said they were hung, and the judge said, nope, too bad, you got to reach a decision. So that's, they needed to go back and keep working on it. The jury was out 6-7 hours, and they came back not guilty. That was a rape case, and that was the Gumby and the magic penis defense. For my client to have been guilty, he would have had to be Gumby and had a penis that could turn, right angles and twist and crawl over things. Again, that comes down to the story and changes in the story and little inconsistencies. Co-counsel on that case was brilliant. She did the deposition, she did all the advanced work on that and knew those facts cold, and then cross-examined the complaining witness for 3 hours and hit every single little inconsistency and pulled at that until, by God, I was sitting at the defense table saying, just stop already, she dozed, she lied. And but that's what it takes. Did a phenomenal job. And I got away with getting a little dig in here and there at things during the opening and closing. But a jury case is, wow, there's nothing more fun for a trial lawyer. So, windshield time is just that, man. It's as if you're sitting in the car and we're just rapping on this drive between courts in rural Missouri. And it could go faster if I could speed, but you can't really speed. As a defense attorney, you don't want it. You don't want to give the police a reason. So, you set the cruise control at the speed limit and you follow it. I got a ticket several years ago. I was on my way to a deposition. I was running a little bit late. So I passed somebody, and as I passed them, I got up to 90 on a rural country road. The speed limit was 60. And so sure enough, coming the other way was a semi, and then there's a state trooper right behind the semi. So, I didn't even wait for him. He just pulled over and took the ticket. But, so yeah, you don't get out of tickets merely because you're a lawyer. You might be able to get a better result, but you don't get out of it. So we are going back to Kirksville to close on the new office building. And I'm going to plug some video into the new office. No, I probably won't. Not in this. This is going to be straight windshield time. But for a trial attorney, there is nothing more fun than dressing up, going to court, and being in trial and arguing a case. You get clients before trial, and there's no more nervous. No, I can scratch that. One of the most nervous times for a client is right before trial, when this is it, it's coming together. They see their lawyer come in and start setting books down on the table, and they're looking at you and they're like, you don't know this? And there's nervousness. And the answer is, yeah, I know your case, but I need to be able to go to my records. The most nervous time for a client is after closing arguments, the jury goes out, and then you all sit and wait. The fastest I've had a jury come back was 26 minutes. The longest was 8 hours. Both of those are scary. And the myth that, if the jury's out longer, that's good for the defendant. The jury's comes back quick, that's good for the defendant. Yeah, that's a myth. Nobody knows. You can't read into the jury. But I found that juries are usually really, really good about skirting the line of reasonable doubt. They understand that reasonable doubt is more than, yeah, I think you did it. Beyond a reasonable doubt means they've got to be firmly convinced. And juries are usually really good at that, where some of the more jaded people, possibly some judges, may not be. So this is a busy day. I had my hearing this morning, brief appearance for setting, and I've got a trial this afternoon. It's a misdemeanor trial, so it's going to be a bench trial in front of the judge. Plan on taking most of the afternoon, and then we start moving. So I'm going to be up all night too. Well, hey, that's it for today. I went longer than I intended, but that's a little bit of insight into jury trials and what the windshield times are about. So thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, hit the alert button. Remember, we have our I'm going to call it layperson's law school coming up. We're going to run through what the court process is, cases you can defend yourself on. Whether or not you should is going to be up to you. Understanding of evidence, how evidence is presented. We'll go in, we'll do an episode or two just on hearsay and exceptions to hearsay, which is a very, very complicated subject, despite seeming so simple. And if you are in a court case and you have a lawyer, good for you. But what you need to be aware of and how you can tell how things are going. What the process is, what this means. Now, everything that I talk about is going to be based on Missouri law, but it is not legal advice. It's just going to be information. So make sure you hit the alert button so that you'll know when we post those. And we should start posting the first episodes here within a week or two for those. Once we get moved in a new office this weekend, we'll set the studio up and start shooting. But thank you. Talk to you soon.